Welcome back, guys. Here with my pops again for another episode. Right now, we're going through all of his World Series teams. He went to 6 World Series and was able to win 2. And now we are on to the 1999 New York Yankees. He's on the other side of the rivalry. And you break in and win this one for your first World Series. Let's go through some of the roster and some of the stories from that team. Obviously, a great team, some serious depth on this team. So let's talk about
how
some
I
of the
got
characters.
there. How I got there. I went to the Blue Jays for 2 years, won a couple Triple Crowns with some great young players
Yeah.
on my staff, and Mr. Steinbrenner came knocking, and was actually in this very room twice. The second time he came, he finally looked at me. Do you want to be a Yankee or don't you? I've been trying to get you for 2 years. Blah blah blah, and so. Come to know Mr. Steinbrenner a little bit more. What a great to play for an owner that I tell people that if he had $5 in his pocket and there's a player out there to make us better, it's going to cost us $10. He's going to get him. So as a player, your owner wants to win that badly. It just makes it even more so. And like you said, I'm in search of my first world championship right here, and I get it in '99.
Right. That's awesome. Let's go through the pitching staff. First name that pops off to me at the top of this list is David Cone.
Coney was great. I pitched with a lot of guys that had tremendous breaking balls, and Coney was one of them. He had 2 different what we call frisbees, the way he threw them. Great mechanics, fantastic veteran pitcher. Nothing fazed Coney when he was out there. He was throwing the kitchen sink at you to get you out. And great teammate and fun to have around. Now, like I said, when he went out to the mound, he was all business.
The second name that really sticks out to me is Jason Grimsley.
Yeah, Grims had a power sinker, and he was kind of like Grims. He had no problem pitching inside, and but he threw a really heavy baseball, and those guys were big for us. I mean, we had kind of all of us had even though the starters wanted to go 7, 8 innings if we could, we knew if we were in trouble in the 6th, we had somebody for the 6th, 7th, and 8th that could get the ball to Rivera. So he was one of those guys.
Yeah, I met his son last year. We went out to Houston Oaks and played some golf.
Yeah.
So I think Jason was out there as well. So we should get together with them at some point. The next name that really sticks out to me, and you'll know from his windup and his leg kick, El Duque. Orlando Hernandez.
Yeah, he definitely could get that leg up and hide that ball. He was another one that had like 2 different sliders or 2 different curveballs, the way he would throw them. He had a tight one, he had a loopy one. Again, our staff was made up of a few of the guys that had really, they had really good breaking balls, and they could throw them for strike 1 right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And throw them at any time. But El Duque is the same way. Everybody loved him. He had a tremendous smile and just a fun teammate, but very intense. Him and Jorge would get after each other a few times, when things weren't going right on how the game was being called and stuff. But another guy that took the baseball when he was called upon.
Hideki Irabu.
Yeah, Hideki was great, man. He was fun. I think he understood English more than what he led on to. And we were kind of in charge of early when we met to go with Mel Stoudemire, pitching coach, on a backfield to do PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, because I enjoyed doing it because it made me a better fielder, and I knew I needed it, especially once you get close to the playoffs when teams are bunting and trying to move runners over. But Hideki was not a very good fielder, and to the point where we had to use like little kids' baseballs to hit at him because we'd miss him so much. The hard baseball hit him in the shins, and he'd have knots all over his legs.
That's
he was a fun guy.
Ramiro Mendoza.
Ramiro, he was. I don't know what we called, like they called him like the witch doctor or something, like he put a spell on people, but he was another one that would come in. We could use him in the 6th, 7th, or 8th in front of him.
Mid-relief guy.
Yeah, and a great sinker.
What about Dan Nolte?
No, he was. Again, these fringe guys, they helped us out in some big games along the way.
Jeff Nelson.
Nelly had a tremendous
He's a
slider.
skyscraper,
Yes,
huh? Wasn't he
yeah,
like six, seven,
six
something
six,
like
and
that?
yeah, it could drop down and give you a different look, and throw you a breakable, almost start it behind you.
Mike Stanton.
Stanton called him Doo-Doo, and Doo-Doo, again, he took the ball, was big in many games for us. That's what's great about our bullpen. Our guys, before we got to Mariano, those guys knew how to pitch, and they had no problem pitching back-to-back days and coming in and getting us out of trouble.
Yeah. Alan Watson.
Waddy was great, too. I mean, Waddy, same deal. He's one of them bullpen guys that take the ball anytime.
Jay Tessmer.
Test, same thing. It's another
Man, you
one.
guys had a lot of middle relief guys. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to have that.
Yeah.
Then you got Andy Pettit.
Yeah, Lefty was he was great. Obviously we shared the same agency, and so it was great when I got to New York to play with Lefty. And he had a cutter, and really, I considered him a power pitcher from the left side. I think Andy could get up to 93, 94 when he was right. Usually pitched around 90, 92, I think. But he was another, Andy was another guy that could focus better than most, and that's what made him great to me.
He had a great pickoff move too.
He had a great pickoff move. He could pick some guys off, but he, I just remember, him getting to a point where he was really precise with his mechanics.
Yeah.
And have his glove kind of almost touching his cheek or his mouth and come set. But Andy was huge.
Awesome, and then obviously Mariano.
Yeah, well, Mariano, I mean, he's the greatest closer that I've played with. What'd I say? I think I said there's two things for sure in life that are for sure is death and taxes. And I said, you can make it a third with Mariano.
Yeah.
Because when you see him trotting in, I couldn't be more comfortable than knowing that I was going to win my first World Series.
When he got the ball.
Yeah, when he got the ball against against the Braves, and but an unbelievable cutter, an unbelievable athlete, and just a great human being.
All right, well, let's talk about the battery. Yeah, the catchers. You got Joe Girardi and Jorge Posada.
Yeah, two of them, both of them. Joe was a manager, and I always say the catchers are your second manager. When they're back there, they're really in charge of keeping the game under control and what's going on. And I had Joe for a number of starts, and a good target. Again, good hands. And then Jorge was probably the best catcher, the two-way catcher. Jorge could hit, and he could catch a crazy pitching staff. Like I said, he had to catch El Duque and Cone and these guys throwing frisbees all over the place, balls breaking more than you want, and really trusting your hands to present yourself good. Georgie and I had a great working relationship. When I was lethargic, he would come out and get on me and fire me up.
Yeah.
And if he was moving too much for me, I would call him out and say, Georgie, sit still. And he goes, am I moving? I go, yeah, just sit still, trust your hands. And that's how good he was.
And he was a great hitter as well.
That's what I said. He's probably the best two-way catcher that I threw to.
All right, so now let's get to the infielders. Obviously, some studs here. You had Clay Bellinger, Cody's old man.
Yep.
He was a stud. You got Scott Brocious.
Yeah, Bro was great at third. Hit some big home runs. Scotty hit in the lineup where you had all these big names and you almost forget about him. He'd lay in the weeds and he'd get you if you weren't careful. He's a guy that you cannot overlook.
Right. D'Angelo Jimenez.
A little bit, yeah.
Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah, Nobby was, being a hometown kid like here in Houston with us, and so I knew a lot about Nobby and a gamer. Won it wherever he went, and again, just an absolute tough out at the plate. Would compete, give you long at bats, and just a great player. I mean, it was awesome having him around.
Jeff Manto.
Manto was great. He filled in quite a bit for some guys, absolutely.
You got Tino Martinez.
Well, Tino's, again, got a sweet stroke. Tino could hit. He was balanced at the plate, a tough out. I mean, it was, like I said, having him at first base with the glove that he had was great for us. So Tino's just a player.
You had Luis Sojo.
Yeah, Soho's funny. He would play anywhere and get some really, really, pinch hitting is tough, but he did it well, and he got us some really clutch hits.
Yeah. And you got the beast Alfonso Soriano.
Yeah, Sori's, he's it's the difference between when I tell people think about the American League and National League. American League, you got a couple guys in front of the lineup, might not hurt you. 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. 7's not going to hurt you. 8.
You mean in the National League?
In the National League, you got a couple guys that aren't going to hurt you at the top of the lineup. Bottom of the lineup's not going to hurt you too much as far as damage. Coming to the American League, you got Soriano leading off. He's got 30 bombs and 100 RBIs. So
yeah.
I always tell people, lay that little two-seamer in there and see if you ever
game.
get it back. See if you get it back from this guy, right?
And obviously, you can't forget, you got Derek.
Yeah, Jeet's, one of the best of the best. I mean, and when you talk about a captain, he obviously he's one of those guys that makes everybody around him better. Your game's elevated. It didn't take Jeet much, to catch on. He didn't like me when I was on the other teams facing him, and then he found out about me when I got there that I'd do anything for their guys to help them win. And I can't tell you how many times where I might have given up a couple runs early, and he hits a big homer and gets me the lead back, and he'll go by the mound and say, "Let's go, say something to me, and fire me up, and say, let's go. There's your lead. Let's go." So just again, knew when to have fun with everybody, and you could tell when it was game time and serious. And Jeet said it best. I mean, he had one thing in mind when we started every season. The game one of every season was get to the World Series and win it, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good infield there. Let's get to the outfield. Some cool names here as well. Paul O'Neill is the one that sticks out to me.
Yeah, I thought I was intense till I met Paulie, and it's I kind of like your dad a little bit. On the field, we're all business, and off the field we're kind of funny and loose and whatever. Paulie and I lockered next to each other, so if he had a bad game, I got up the ramp first and got my shoes off or whatever and peeled off into the trainer's room because he's coming in launching bats and shoes and anything else. Yeah. Paulie, big arm, super, like I said, super intense. I think he swung a 35-inch bat. I mean,
he's a big dude too.
Yeah, he's a monster. And it was funny for us, not for him, because he sat in the far end of the dugout by the big water cooler, and like he made an out like a half hour ago, and all of a sudden you'd hear, and he just the water jug is a speed bag. He's just boxing its ears off. And I'm like, I look at Zim, I'm sitting down by Mr. Torrey, their skipper, and Don Zimmer, and I'm like, I said, good Lord, he hit like a half hour ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Another fun one was Paulie's always in the outfield with his glove, and when we're in the field, I'm doing my warm-up pitches, but he's got his glove under his arm, and he's working on his leg kick and his path, and I'm getting ready to throw a pitch, and I hear Jeet, Rock, step off. And I look at it, and he goes, and he points over to right field, and O's not ready yet. He's still got his glove. He's still working on it. So we got to wait for him to get done shadow boxing out there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so, but great player.
All right, the next guy is Chad Curtis.
Yeah, Chad was great, man. He's a little. He was another version of one of those guys that all business. He was. He knew when he got his chance to start that they were meaningful starts, and he made some great plays for us, and he really worked hard on his defense.
Ricky Leday.
Ricky's the same way. Ricky's good, sweet little hitter, man. Sweet little swing.
You had Shane Spencer.
Spence, we called him Barney Rebel.
He had some big hits too.
Oh, Spence was great for us, man. He got the bat through the zone like you read about, and if you made a mistake, he could hit a ball a long way.
And then the big one to finish up the outfielders would be Bernie Williams.
Yeah, Bernie's the best, man. He's, I mean, the sweetheart of all guys. Bernie's quiet, but he's like a baby assassin. He'll get you. You think about Bernie and playing his music and how laid back he is.
Yeah.
I think he and Mariano had the sweetest jogs. You know, Bernie had a nice little jog,
Yeah.
a cool jog. And of course, Mariano coming in from the bullpen, he had a cool jog in. But yeah, Bernie was smooth. He could run smooth. He did a lot of things very well. And I think the only story I remember about Bernie, we were in the playoffs somewhere. I think we were in Oakland. The bases were loaded, and thank goodness the guys on the bases paid attention to the outs or the count. And Bernie thought it was ball 4. It was ball 3. So he was walking on ball 3, and when he thought it was ball 4, he flipped his bat down on ball 3, and he did his little sweet little stride and going down first base. And everybody, none of our guys, bases loaded. None of our guys are moving. And the fans are getting on him too because they know it's only ball 3. He's got to come all the way back and pick his bat up. Most guys would be embarrassed as hell, you know, coming back.
Yeah, you get shaken up a little bit.
Yeah, you're like, it's ball 3, man, I messed up, embarrassing, you know, fans are killing me, blah, 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 you know, visiting fans there in Oakland. And most everybody else is going to take strike 3 right down the middle and punch out. Next pitch, Bernie, granny, no problem, there he goes. Grand slam, home run.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the other two notables that are other positions are Chili Davis and Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah, those are two great bats that come off the bench, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having Straw and Chili Dog. You know, both fun guys, you know, and then you watch Darryl from afar and you don't really know, all about him. You know, played against him in the World Series, you know, in '86, and then get to be a teammate and just see the amount of power that both these guys had when they swing. I mean, we had some guys that could hurt you pretty good, and both those men could do that for us. So they're great pieces to the puzzle for us, for sure.
Yeah, any other stories or anything that comes to mind from that year winning your first World Series?
Just knowing it was going to happen, I'm like, man, it was like slow motion the last couple outs, watching Mo go, you know, to get it, and then we all run on the field. I remember throwing my arms up in the air, just going, this is what it's like. You know,
and then you probably, at that point, you're like, man, I want to win as many of these as possible.
Yeah, I know the team had a couple parties in downtown New York that never ended. I think I went from a couple of the parties right to the morning shows.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you know, I need to get some sleep. But the parade was unbelievable. I think the guys were around the parade a little bit.
Yeah, I was 5 years old at that time, so just...
Yeah, you were taking it in. I think I have some good pictures of you being in the parade.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that wraps up the 1999 year, the first World Series for you that kicked off the next few years of this kind of Yankees dynasty.
Yeah, became a habit all of a sudden.
that started. So we're going to move on. A lot of these same names will be on this 2000 team, but stay tuned. After we get done going through the 6 World Series years, we're going to try and see if we can't rank which teams go where. So appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what else you want to see. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode.